I started with the realization that that parents were hesitant to hand their children, younger children, my novels because the stories are intense, and a dog's purpose, a dog's journey. These have some tough moments, and what the parents wanted was a point of view of the dog, but a point of view of a dog that wasn't so stressful for their readers, for their children. So I hit upon the idea of taking the interior story of the lives of the dogs from a dog's purpose and turning them into what we call the puppy tales. And that is, you reference that's Molly's story, that's Bailey's story, that's Ellie's story. Ellie was the first one. But then something happened along the way, which was that I decided that I wanted to write books that were not based on my grown-up books. And I came up with this idea for a dog named Lily. And Lily is a very special dog. She grows up, or she lives at a rescue. She's a rescue dog who works at a rescue. She's rescuing other animals. And that book that iPad 5 was waving around is called Lily's Story. And it was the first Lily book. It tells the origin of Lily. And then we were just all so delighted with this character. Lily is so full of joy, and so makes mistakes all the time, but that turn out well. She accidentally saves animals, and so having put all that together for Lily, I just wanted to continue to explore that idea, and a series of books was the best way to do it. And we also knew that I have a lot of children, usually older than third grade, who are reading the Bailey story, Molly story, Ellie story, Toby story books. And we wanted to make my stories accessible to younger children. So a chapter book just seemed like the way to go. And it has been wonderful. And the reception from children has been really great. They really, even kids that don't like to read the Lily books, because it's a way in. You can see the world through the eyes of a happy-go-lucky dog.
And I have to say, the Lily to the Rescue series is one of the best-selling series in our store. So it's amazing. But from Susan, hi, Bruce. How do you get inside the mind of a dog so well? Were you a dog in a past life?
Well, my wife would tell you that I'm a guy, so I'm like halfway to being a dog anyway. But the key to writing fiction is to get inside the mind of fictional characters, of characters you make up. And so making up a fictional dog meant that I started thinking about, well, what would its character be like? And how do dogs see the world? And, my Labrador always saw the world through the eyes of having a tennis ball in his mouth. And I suppose that if I put a tennis ball in my mouth and spat it out when it got all slimy into people's laps, that would have given me an even better perspective on what it's like to be a dog. But I was really focused on what would it be like to face the world with such optimism every day? To not wake up and think, today is not going to be a great day, or it's raining, or whatever it is. But instead to say, hey, it's raining, great, or it's not raining, great. I mean, just to be a happy character. So I put myself in the mind of some creature who is always optimistic, always happy, always looking forward to what's coming next, never has a dread, never is stressed out. It's a pretty happy world to when you find your way there. And so that's what I try to do.
Do you have a favorite one, a favorite book?
Well, I'm sort of always partial to the books that have just come out. So I'm very partial to the novel A Dog's Perfect Christmas, which just came out, of course, Christmas time. And I love it's got dogs in it. I love dogs, and so that's sort of my current favorite. But I've got a book coming out in May called A Dog's Courage, and I'm sure that will be my favorite when that one comes out.
So has there an animal that you've written about, like in the Lily to the Rescue series, that you have been like totally like shocked about, like the facts? I was totally blown away by the donkey facts and about the pig facts. So is there, I mean.
Yeah, I think read the Lost Little Leopard. It's funny. I was just looking at jungle cats online, and I came across this beautiful, beautiful little leopard looking at the camera, and I thought, I got to write about that one. That's a wonderful, wonderful animal. I didn't know when I started writing it that it's the most endangered wild cat in the world, and that they are highly prized by illegal collectors. And it was pretty awful to read that there are people who are taking these animals for private collections reasons, and it's just awful. So in Lily to the Rescue, Maggie Rose is our main character, our main human character, and Lily, of course, is our main dog character. Maggie Rose's father is a game warden in the state of Colorado, and we open with him on the hunt for a man who's illegally importing macaws, and that's a macaw right there, that bird. Beautiful scarlet macaw, one of the most gorgeous animals ever created. So he's hunting for somebody who's illegally importing those, and they stumble across a caged leopard cub, a baby leopard, and it's an Amur leopard. And so I was really, you asked, the question was I, really startled by the facts of any of the creatures? And that's probably the one that had me spend the most of my time researching, because the more I read, the more fascinated I was, and the more disturbed I was that these cats are in such peril that we are literally trying to save the species by capturing them and breeding them in captivity and trying to get their population back up. And that's a heroic effort. I hope we succeed, because they're wonderful animals, as Lily finds out.
You mentioned Maggie Rose. She's actually my hero because, well, she has complete control over Lily, whereas I do not over my dogs, I've come to realize. So she is my hero. So is she based on someone in your life?
No, I don't really do that. A lot of writers really like to say, well, I'm going to write about my Uncle Ed, and then Ed shows up in their books. I've never done that, because I don't like the idea that instead of a character going in the direction that I'm creating, I have to go in the direction of somebody who actually lives. I like to build my people sort of from the outside in. I like to think about their obsessions and their ideas. And Maggie Rose is very focused on animals. She's such a sweet soul. She's got these two pesky brothers that she has to deal with, and she deals with them in, I think, a really how can I say this, like a calm, gentle, kind manner. Rarely loses her temper at them. She's very tolerant, and these characteristics show up in Maggie Rose because that's what I wanted to show. I wanted to show a girl, a third grade girl, who is really into animal rescue, and what that must be like for Maggie Rose, and then for anybody who's in third grade reading the books.